time in that situation. They're not getting guys on either. And part of the 100-year celebration, they're parading a variety of different uniforms out. This is the Cubs. That's the Cardinals, obviously. And your history in this series, you actually had great success here. You hit more home runs here than any other ballpark but your own.
Well, I enjoyed playing against the Cubs. They used to call me the Cub Killer.
Yeah.
But that was affectionately calling me the Cub Killer. I did enjoy it here. You know, I went to the University of Michigan, so there are a lot of guys that came down here, a lot of fans that came down here from the University of Michigan. Every time I would come up to hit, the organist would play Hail to the Victors, the fight song from the University of Michigan, so felt very comfortable here in Chicago.
All right, well, the fans, despite the fact that it's about 50 degrees, they're comfortable. They're looking forward to a Sunday night game. The famous basket there that actually shortens the length of home runs. And the fans from St. Louis and Chicago getting set for Sunday night baseball. With Barry Larkin, Carl Ravitch.
All right, we are done here on ESPN. Baseball tonight up next.
Yeah, we're going over to ESPN News. We will hear from Dirk Nowitzki. His season over for the Mavs. We'll see you over there.
Welcome to Chicago. We continue with baseball tonight. The Cardinals and the Cubs from the friendly confines. It opened in 1914, and we see you, Starlin Castro. He has been red hot lately for Chicago. Have they begun this series by taking 2 of 3 from the St. Louis Cardinals? Speaking of the Cardinals, Matt Holliday and company hope to get their offense going. They have really struggled, unlike last year when they were the best when it came to driving runners in. If you want to get into Wrigley, you can walk in a many an entrance, but only the VIPs get in through that gate. Speaking of VIPs, is there anybody more important than Dan Shulman and John Kruk today looking for their seats? Trying to find a press box, they end up in right field in the bleachers. That'll be their view tonight as they describe the action on Sunday Night Baseball. Baseball tonight from the friendly confines. Wrigley Field, home of the Cubs, and tonight, baseball tonight. Baseball tonight's Sunday Night Countdown is presented by Chevrolet, and welcome everyone to the corners of Clark and Addison. This is, of course, home to the Chicago Cubs and their faithful fans, many of whom are joining us before they head in to see the hometown Cubs take on the Cardinals, celebrating 100 years of Wrigley Field. It opened in 1914. It was basically built for about 15,000 people, and they have since added on bleachers and Ivies in the early 30s. These two guys, John Kruk and Barry Larkin, both played on this field, along with the other greatest players of all time. And you guys had some success on this field. You enjoyed playing here?
They called it the friendly confines, and it was friendly. They didn't have great pitching at the time, so I guess that's why it was friendly, but always had a great relationship. The fans always showed up.
Yeah, because you played shortstop, and that's why you had a good race. They couldn't get to you. Play the outfield, though, they'll get to you, but there's no foul territory here. So you're a hitter, this is a place to come.
If you want to dispel the myth that this is friendly confines all the time, we go back to 1991. Listen closely to this tape. This is where John Kruk was in the outfield, and one of those friendly Cub fans was giving it to him.
Come on, Rhino! Right field's open! Kruk, man, this is your job on the line. Lord knows they got Murphy to play right field. Give us Dale Murphy! Hey, Kruk, I'm a poor college student. How about loaning me some money, buddy? Nice hustle, Kruk. Way to go, man. Woo-hoo!
I would imagine at some level you were entertained by all that, knowing you.
Well, we stunk back then, too, and so, yeah, I needed something to keep me entertained during a lot of those games. Sometimes they can be pretty cruel.
I'm gonna say that was the PG version right there, because I've heard some of the stuff that is said to the outfield.
And you actually had your camera guy, somebody from Philadelphia, egging that guy on.
Video Dan Stevenson was up there egging this guy on because he thought it'd be fun. And I'm like, yeah, that's a lot of fun.
You think it's going to be fun in your booth tonight?
It could be interesting.
What do you think's going to happen?
Well, it depends on how the game plays out, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be there's not a 7-second delay.
No.
It's not our fault.
That's the booth just out there in right field. So you'll be accompanied by a lot of Cub fans. Hopefully, for your sake, it's a close game. It's not a blowout for the guys from St. Louis. And your view's going to look like this. And then later in the game, as you're sitting there looking at the action, you and Dan Shulman are going to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Trying to get Buster involved in this too, trying to be a little trio going. That way we can drown each other out. But yeah, we need the crowd to stay here through the 7th inning.
Yeah.
Because if they leave and it's just us up there singing, debacle.
Yeah, you ever heard John Kruk sing?
Right.
John Kruk is a great singer.
Yeah.
Great singer. Yes, he is. Yeah. So that'll be the 7th inning tonight, John. Let's go around the league, and then we'll talk about this National League Central. One of the questions we were asked, will the Cubs win the series? We assumed they were talking about this series, not the World Series. We were wrong. They were talking about the World Series. Speaking of the World Series,
this year?
Yeah, this year. Dodgers hope to get there. Watch Yasiel Puig bang into the wall here. Jeff Baker's double won it for Miami. And Puig, according to the Dodgers, no concussion day to day. Good news for him.
Good effort right there.
He went hard. Tampa Bay and New York. Here's another one that goes to the wall. This off the bat of Will Myers. And Ellsbury gets knocked down. And Myers would circle the bases.
You have to wonder where the right fielder is right there, Carlos Beltran.
What? That should never happen in that
Inside the
ballpark.
park, home run. Red Sox and A's, a good one. Sonny Gray started it against John Lackey. Neither figured in the decision. This was the run that allowed the A's to grab a lead in the 10th. As Cespedes, a ground ball. Red Sox then had a man on second, nobody out. Did not score. The double play from Pedroia ends it.
Well, it's been an offensive struggle for the Boston Red Sox so far this year.
Verlander had a no-hitter like he always does, threw about 4 or 5 innings today, and then he gave up some hits. Miguel Cabrera's starting to hit too.
Well, he's been down all year, Johnny. You expect that he will, he'll kind of figure it out.
Yeah, he'll be at his normal 320, 330 before it's all said and done.
That's a nice sweep for the Tigers over the Royals. They win it by a score of 9-4, and Verlander is now 4-1. Rangers and the Angels, Albert Pujols, we have contact.
Albert Pujols, we made mention of this earlier this year. 501, 502 home runs, but his base is back. He's going to have another big season because he's healthy.
Albert's got 10 home runs. That looked like a Prince Fielder buggy whip swing that he pulled into the corner. And the Rangers were all over Tyler Skaggs in this thing. In the 9th inning, they're up big, 9-3. Brewers and Reds game is continuing. This is Brandon Phillips in the bottom of the 8th.
That dude BP, here he go. That's big man territory right there.
He's a big man.
Wow.
So that game continues, and it has been a real struggle for the Pirates so far this season. Colby Rasmus, he's coming up with the bases loaded, and he unloads a granny.
Well, Edison Boquez, one of the pitchers that they brought in, didn't bring back A.J. Burnett. Pitching pretty good for this team so far, but they haven't had the same type of success that they had last year.
What? They've been 9 games out now, the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh, well, 9 games out because you're playing in the same division with the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, and
that's what it is.
That's the thing, too, is because, you look at Pittsburgh, they get to the postseason, they lose in the division series to the Cardinals, but they didn't do anything to improve. They lost players. They lost A.J. Burnett. They lost Marlon Byrd. They didn't bring anything in to replace them. They're trying to do it from within, and right now it's not working.
And the Cardinals aren't working really well either. Or the Cubs are working. They are working right now, Chicago. You're going to sweep the Cardinals if you win tonight.
Yeah, that's believe me, that's huge for this organization because it's been a struggle the last few years for them. But when you talk to Mike Matheny, the players don't seem to think there's any reason to panic just yet. And Mike Matheny wouldn't use the word panic, but he said there's a sense of urgency. We better get this thing going now. He said Milwaukee's not going anywhere.
I'm with you. You said it all.
They wonder when the Cubs will win the series. Not this series, the World Series.
Well, that's not going to happen this year. Maybe not anytime soon. But they've got some good pieces. First of all, they got to lock up some pitching. They got to sign Jeff Samardzija.
All right, sign Jeff Samardzija. Enjoy the singing tonight.
Yeah, baby.
We're looking forward to that.
Okay, I'm good.
That's it? That's all you warm
that's
up?
all I need.
You want to give me a take me out?
No.
No?
Are you going country style?
Yeah, that's all I know, brother.
Attaboy.
St. Louis Cardinals and Alan Craig, an all-star in 2013, struggling a little bit this year. They got to deal with a good pitcher in Jason Hamill tonight. He'll be opposed by Lance Lynn. Buster Olney will join us when we come back. This is Baseball Tonight. It's a Sunday night countdown. It's presented by the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. It's also presented in part by Bear Back and Body. Get moving again with Bear Back and Body. And Oscar Mayer Deli Fresh. It's freshness every time. It's Oscar Mayer. And we're at Wrigley Field, and we'll be back with more Baseball Tonight Sunday Night Countdown.
The Big King you love just chickened out. Introducing the new Chicken Big King with 2 crispy chicken patties and our signature king sauce. The new Chicken Big King, now part of our 2 for $5 menu, only at Burger King, where taste is king.
A man and his truck, and a very eligible bachelor, and lonely hearts, and romance in the air, and hello, ladies. The new Chevy Silverado Heavy Duty, strong for all the roads ahead.
Do you have something for pain?
I have Bayer aspirin.
I'm not having a heart attack. It's my back.
I mean Bayer Back and Body. It works great for pain.
Bayer Back and Body provides effective relief for your tough pain.
Better?
Yeah, thanks for the tip.
What's in your ear? Oh, a quarter.
Check for more.
Well, I guess I can double check. My watch.
It pays to double check with State Farm.
It's not what you do that kills you. It's what you don't do. Dobel Tequila.
Frank, how do you and Dolly keep it interesting?
Still fits.
No.
Wait till the kids see this.
Your father's taking art classes. Is this Mrs. Adler from next door? It is.
You can ring my bell.
Sometimes you just need to spice things up.
Oh, ring my bell, ring my bell.
New Oscar Mayer Deli Fresh Bold. Made with 100% turkey breast, no artificial preservatives, and real Cajun spices. It's spice it up food. It's Oscar Mayer.
This season, let's do all kinds of color. In all kinds of places. There, even up there. Let's get the real dirt from a guy like this. Not this. We're gonna save big, and then we're going in. Ready to color outside the lines? Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Get beautiful color with 1-quart Vigoro annuals. Now just 4 for $10.
After I played FanDuel the first time, I was hooked.
People are going crazy for these new one-day fantasy baseball leagues at FanDuel.com.
With FanDuel, there's no season-long commitment.
FanDuel lets you play in one-day fantasy baseball leagues for real money.
Assembling the ideal team on FanDuel was a blast.
Try FanDuel today, and we'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $200.
On FanDuel, I've won over $62,000.
Go to FanDuel.com now and click on the microphone to get up to $200 free. Enter promo code BACON3. That's promo code BACON3.
At Golden Corral, we love seniors. Right now, our early bird special is just $7.49, drink included. You heard that right. Choose from all the delicious food you love, and your drink is included for just $7.49. It's appetizers, farm fresh vegetables, entrees like our slow roasted pot roast, our famous meatloaf, and more. Not to mention our new and improved Las Vegas style mini desserts. It's the $7.49 early bird special. It's just for seniors, and it's only at Golden Corral.
Rule 19.14, the age of the confines shall not affect its friendliness. Sunday Night Baseball, Cardinals Cubs tonight at 8, presented by Taco Bell. Baseball rules on ESPN.
You're watching Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown is presented by Chevrolet.
Steady and successful, even as they constantly remake themselves. No sooner has one legend departed, it seems, than another gets created. The names change, new heroes are made, but great baseball remains the Cardinal way.
Swing a high fly ball, center field, it is gone!
ESPN celebrates 25 years of baseball.
Yadier Molina has been the MVP of this team for a long time, and this night he has moved up in this batting order for Mike Matheny. Mike Matheny, if you read Buster Olney's column earlier today, had used 26 different lineups in 31 games. Well, here's number 27, Barry. They're changing a lot of pieces around trying to find the magic.
Well, you know, it's about trying to find that productivity. This year didn't have to make many adjustments, but certainly this year it's been different. Johnny Peralta is one guy in the middle of the lineup that is only hitting .219 on the season, but .467 against Hamill. So maybe he will build that spark. They just haven't had it so far with runners in scoring position in particular.
And speaking of Buster Olney, he joins us now from inside. Got a chance to talk with Mike Matheny. What is the state of the Cardinals?
Well, frustration is starting to come into the equation. Look, this is a team that last year finished second out of 30 teams in runs scored, and coming into today, they were 25th out of 30 teams in runs scored. The biggest difference, how they're faring with runners in scoring position. Last year, they batted .330. That was a record. This year, they're 107 points lower, and Matheny mentioned that the players certainly understand that they have a history, but at the same time, he said there is some frustration coming in. He said we do have some guys who are on edge. Now, if the Cardinals offense doesn't turn around, they could potentially call up Oscar Taveras, who's considered to be one of the best hitting prospects in all of baseball. He's hitting over .300 at Memphis. But when I asked Matheny about that, he pretty much shut that conversation down. He said, look, we got plenty of guys here, and I don't want anybody thinking of him as being a silver bullet. In other words, a guy who's going to come in here and solve all kinds of problems. Starlin Castro of the Cubs is having a huge comeback season. Right now he's on pace to have 200 hits for the year. And when you talk to people within the Cubs organization, they really feel like that he's benefited from a relationship he's developed with new manager Rick Renteria, who called him on the phone during the course of the offseason, and he said to him, look, what happened here in the past has no relevance to me. Cubs really feel like that Castro has played much better defensively. Tonight, pitching for the Cubs, Jason Hamill, 4-1 with a 2.08 ERA. And during the offseason, before he signed, he talked to Scott Feldman, who was his teammate with the Baltimore Orioles, and asked him about the Cubs. And Feldman said, look, you should go there, work with Chris Bosio, their pitching coach, on his core strengthening. And he really felt like that would help Hamill. It may also be that Hamill's going to follow Feldman out of Chicago during the course of the year. You remember last year, the Cubs had Feldman on a short-term deal. They traded him to the Orioles. That could be what happens with Hamill this summer, Carl.
I'm sure he wouldn't be upset about a 3-year, $30 million deal like Feldman got with the Houston Astros either. And usually off of Lake Michigan, you get a wind blowing in or blowing out. At night, it really doesn't blow that much, so we'll see if Hamill is able to keep the ball down and keep it in the ballpark. Barry, the lineup that features a couple of foundation guys in the middle there.
And that's exactly what they are, Anthony Rizzo and Starlin Castro. If this team is going to do anything now or into the future, these two guys in the middle of the lineup, they're going to have to get it done. Not only on the offensive end, but in the clubhouse and on the field.
Again, Darwin, Marty, Baker, and then Hamill on the mound. The bullpen has been pretty good, too. Again, the Chicago Cubs are going for a sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals tonight here on Sunday Night Baseball. Anthony Rizzo is going to be here for a long time, a big part of what the Cubs hope to build into a championship contending team. They've played a bunch of World Series years. They just haven't won a World Series here. Like 1918, they played in the World Series. They've been in several of them, and they're looking for that magic. It was once Weegham Park, then Cubs Park. Now it's Wrigley Field.
Wrigley is a true ballpark.
There's a certain smell to Wrigley, a certain dustiness, if you will, that you catch as soon as you walk in the door.
Walking through that tunnel every day, you remind yourself once you see that ivy and step onto the field that it's special to play at Wrigley Field.
To just sit in a dugout and cherish the moments and acknowledge everything that's going on around you, and it's a great feeling, and it makes you want to be a Cub and part of the organization.
MLB Go Yard is presented by Scotts, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball.
The Home Run Derby showcases the game's most powerful bats.
Look at Big Poppy. Oh!
And one of the most incredible displays of power came courtesy of Josh Hamilton in 2008.
National League All-Stars are on their feet.
Well, this one is toward the moon.
Farthest one I hit was 518.
And, you know, you just hear, you goes from Hamilton to,
His amazing 518-foot blast was just one of the record 28 homers in the first round alone.
That was awesome.
Years from now, when they talk about the old Yankee Stadium, one of the memories will be this kid on this field right now.
Visit scotts.com/GoYard for the chance to win a $25,000 backyard makeover.
Nice morning, Scott.
Aye. At a morning of tiny voices crying out, feed us.
I don't understand.
Your grass, man. It's a living, breathing thing. It's hungry, and you've got to feed it with Scott's Turf Builder. Attaboy, Mikey. 2 feedings now in the springtime. Strengthens and helps protect your lawn from future problems. Get Scott's Turf Builder lawn food. It's guaranteed. Feed your lawn. Feed it.
Visit scotts.com/GoYard for the chance to win a $25,000 backyard makeover.
This is the age of knowing what you're made of. Why let erectile dysfunction get in your way? Talk to your doctor about Viagra. Ask if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain. It may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease or loss in vision or hearing. This is the age of taking action. Viagra. Talk to your doctor.
Hey, Mike Trout. Simon says hit back-to-back leadoff home runs.
No problem.
Simon says go make an impossible catch.
What?
Simon says steal second base. Go to third.
Really?
I didn't say Simon says.
Are you kidding me?
Simon says touch your nose.
Mike Trout can do anything. All you have to do is ask.
Supermarkets, a shopper's paradise. But this is Guy's Grocery Games, where chefs have to think, shop, and cook fast.
This game show, finding ingredients won't be easy.
Out of stock.
Budgets can make or break them. And if they don't cook up a killer meal,
they're gonna have to check out.
Guy's Grocery Games, all new season, all new games. Premieres next Sunday night at 8 on Food Network.
Clean up, aisle 2.
When I was younger, I didn't want to admit I had a serious disease. Because of my diabetes, I lost the sight in my left eye. Misconceptions continue to surround this monster public health issue. But the simple truth is, diabetes can often be prevented and complications avoided. You're not alone. Understand the realities of diabetes and know that you can manage it and lead a full, active life.
You're watching Sunday Night Baseball Tonight Countdown. It is presented by Chevrolet.
You know you're in Wrigley when you're walking through that dark, dank, tight hallway. It's a little tight, a little small, cramped in.
You try not to hit your head on the things above you.
I think they do that on purpose because I know I busted my head a few times. I feel like I'm walking a dream now, man. You know, saying, how you doing, boss?
I remember my first time there. I was so lost.
You take a left, you take a right, you take another left.
You have no idea where you're going.
You know, you're zigzagging and then boom, you got Wrigley Field.
They'd never build it now the way they built it back then. This is the way that the visitors actually walk out onto, or in the case of going back into, their clubhouse. And as you can imagine, it wasn't built for the guys who were the size of the guys that are playing today.
Watch your head.
You've made that walk before. Did you ever knock your head on the top of the wall?
Oh, my goodness, so many times.
You did?
You really, and I'm 6 foot, so I can only imagine the guy's a little bit bigger than me. But I'm telling you what, when you walk out of the clubhouse, you kind of expect, you have like this kind of sense of mind that you're going to get ready to go get out on the field. And so you walk down the stairs, then you have to make a left, And then you make this right, and you're like, whoa, am I going the right way? And they have it lit up. This is a well-lit area right now. Normally, it's dark. Joey Votto called it dank. It is very dark, and if there's a light out here or there, eventually you make it, and then you go up the stairs and walk out there and see the ivy. But it certainly is a long walk, and it kind of messes with your mentality.
You're not skateboarding through the halls.
Oh, no, absolutely, absolutely not. Just watch your footing and watch your head.
You want to send a letter to the Cubs. The actual address is 1060 West Addison Street, and as they celebrate this 100th year anniversary, they have all sorts of jerseys that have been worn over the years. This is the Cardinals jersey they're going to wear tonight. That's the Cubs, of course, and they'll have food, they'll have toy giveaways representing the different decades that they have been playing baseball here on the north side. On the south side, the Chicago White Sox were in action, and they have gotten a lot of offense. They've gotten offense from Diane Viciedo. They've gotten offense from Mr. Abreu. They are dealing with Abreu right now, the Cleveland Indians, and that ball is kissed goodbye.
Well, the way you try to get Abreu out is by getting inside of his power. Unfortunately, on that pitch, was not quite capable of getting there.
All right, are there White Sox fans here? Well, this worked out well for the fans. A ninth inning Diane Viciedo 3-run home run.
Tank hits the ball really hard. You guys weren't too excited about that right there.
I thought they liked the Chicago teams. Like the Blackhawks. Here's your Budweiser walk-off moment today. Yonder Alonso slow roller played beautifully, but Maven beats it.
Cameron Maven back in the lineup because of that speed. He's healthy, can definitely make a difference.
And for the love of the Reds, another Budweiser walk-off moment. Todd Frazier.
And we call him T. Frazier, remember that, right?
T. Frazier, and now is his Heisey. From first.
Speed kills, Carl. Right there, Chris Heisey all the way from first base. The walk-off win in Cincinnati.
He is in, and we are continuing on baseball tonight from Wrigley Field. Boy, the Miami Marlins are starting to get scary, and Giancarlo Stanton was matching again. We love the match. The Roaring Tigers with Verlander on the mound and Cabrera at the plate. Are the Royals all of a sudden in some trouble? And there are the gem nominees. Barry will be back out in the sixth inning of tonight's game to tell us who he has at the top. How many great defensive plays were made today. And tonight will we see some great defense from Rick Renteria's team. This is the Lakeview section. We're in Wrigleyville, and there is so much to do beyond just the ballpark.
There's a brick house on Waveland Avenue. It's been home to a Chicago institution for a century. But this house has seen more than just games. Engine 78. Established 1894.
Do you have something for pain?
I have Bayer aspirin.
I'm not having a heart attack. It's my back.
I mean Bayer Back and Body. It works great for pain.
Bayer Back and Body provides effective relief for your tough pain.
Better?
Yeah. Thanks for the tip.
Jeff.
Hey, Scott. Top of the morning to you, sir.
This is no time for lollygagging, lad.
But we love lollygagging.
We do.
There is a battlefield out there. You know, the chickweed is surrounding your sidewalk, and the dandelions are stealing precious nutrients. Now's the time to send in the Scots Turf Builder Weed and Feed, man. It kills weeds while it feeds and strengthens your grass.
That sounds easy.
Thanks, Scott.
Anytime, kids. Get Scots Turf Builder Weed and Feed. It's guaranteed. Feed your lawn. Feed it.
Summer is loaded with little adventures. So make the most of every sun-filled summer day with a refreshing Leinenkugel Summer Shandy. It's crisp beer with the natural flavor of lemonade that says, come on by, without having to say a single word. Our family's been brewing beers in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin for 6 generations. And this one says summer. So grab a summer shandy and join us out here.
It's way past my bedtime, but it's hard to sleep when I know the babysitter's treating herself to a late night helping of my Kraft mac and cheese.
Hi, Sam. Did you have a nightmare or something?
She will not be asked back.
Kraft macaroni and cheese. You know you love it.
Papa, I'm ready to join your start lineup.
Great, Paul. Here's how I make my dough.
Wow. Here's how I make my dough.
Sweet, like my new sweet chili chicken pizza.
Breaded all-white chicken, fresh sliced onions, red peppers, pineapple, and sweet spicy chili sauce. Papa John's new sweet chili chicken pizza. Just $12 at papajohns.com.
Papa, check out this dough.
Better ingredients.
Better pizza. Papa John's.
Here comes Boom Boom. Big Polly. Fugazi.
David Price likes to name just about everything around him.
Monty. What up, Monty? The Cavalry. Picasso. Times Square. Winkletoes. That's my car, Jenny. That pole over there, call that Slim. That's my dog, Astro. Hogan. Casper. Stan.
He calls his Cy Young trophy Clarence.
The draft is coming, and 32 teams are on the clock. But you only care about one team's destiny. Will your team grab that power forward turned tight end? Or maybe that undersized corner that keeps sliding? Or could it be this is the year they finally draft someone you'd name your kid after? Over 250 names will be called. You just want to know which ones you'll end up yelling. Behind the scenes, beyond the headlines, before it happens. ESPN Insider, your way in.
Supermarkets, a shopper's paradise. But this is Guys Grocery Games, where chefs have to think, shop, and cook fast. This game show, finding ingredients won't be easy. Out of stock. Budgets can make or break them. And if they don't cook up a killer meal, they're gonna have to check out.
Guys Grocery Games, all new season, all new games. Premieres next Sunday night at 8 on Food Network.
Clean up, aisle 2.
So many kids' activities today seem to leave out the activity part. New research tells us that just getting children to walk an extra 35 minutes a day could spare them the pain of thinning bones later in life. Encourage your kids to get up, get out, and get moving.
Hello. Hey, Grandma, how about another grape soda?
A public service message on building strong bones for kids from the Pediatric Orthopedic Society of North America and the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
The Cards-Cubs rivalry is definitely one of a kind.
It's definitely got a lot of history to it.
The fans definitely get a little more energetic when it's Cubs-Cardinals.
You go to Wrigley Field, it's packed. There's people there early. Going back to Busch Stadium, the same thing. People are tailgating.
The way we've played those games, you almost can tell that it's almost like a playoff game because you care so much about representing your team against a fellow rival.
It means a lot to the fans. It certainly means a lot to us as well as players.
No matter where you're at in the standings, when the Cardinals come to town, it's a different feeling. That's kind of what we circle on our calendar.
Well, they hope to do a bunch of renovations, and one of those that seems to have already been taken care of, although it's not huge, the Chicago Cubs clubhouse, as they've been playing this rivalry, Cardinals and Cubs, since 1892. Currently 1183 to 1128 in favor of Matt Holliday's Cardinal franchise, as those two teams get set to deal with tonight's game, where temperatures should be in the upper 40s at first pitch. And certainly in the Midwest and in Chicago, they have a great love affair with their baseball team, even though it hasn't won for so many years. And certainly the Cardinals are used to winning. So they're hoping some of that Cardinal stuff rubs off on the Cubs fans. And tonight may be a good time for that to start or continue, given the way that the series has gone, with the Cubs taking the first two. All right, boys and girls, they're on. They woke up to that. And they now know that it is time for our Sunday stretch. We got 25 solid minutes of highlights. We're going to start it with the Nats and the Phillies. This was all about pitching, and in Philadelphia's case, just a little bit better. Where are we going to get a run from? How about Jimmy Rollins?
They call him the party starter, the fire starter right there. J. Rowe, still showing plenty of pop in that bat.
This one off the wall. He'll end up with a triple. He would later score to Chase Utley's single. It's 1-0 in the bottom of the first. It would stay that way through the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh inning. Sandy Leon golfs one to Marlon Byrd.
Get there, Marley. This guy, I'm telling you, the big pickup everywhere he goes. He makes major contributions.
Anthony Rendon at the plate with men on the corners. No, sir. Good pitch by Bistardo on the corner. And those fighting Phillies win a close one. 1-0. It started 1-0. And they won it by a score of 1-0. How about those Brewers and those Reds? We showed you how it ended. Let's get to the whole highlight. Jay Bruce swing and a miss at the slider from Will Smith in the bottom of the 7th for strike 1. The next pitch to the pinch hitter, strike 2.
You think he's going to come with another slider?
I would.
There it is.
He's gone. All right, next batter, Skip Schumacher. Bottom of the 7th with Billy Hamilton at 3rd. They couldn't get him in.
Got to come up with the hit. Can't steal home plate right there.
All right, Brewers bullpen has not been great lately. You see the 11 earned in the last 10. Bottom of the 8th, Brandon Phillips with the bases empty and 1 out. Yardo.
This is what BP does. He likes to come up in big situations with the pressure on. Came through yet again.
Tied at 3. We go to extra innings. In the 10th inning, it's Todd Frazier with Chris Heisey.
What's his nickname? What do we call him? T-Phrase. There it is. Chris Heisey. This is why you have to have speed on the bases. Chris Heisey at first base, double down the left field line. Not a long throw, but plenty of speed at first base to be sort of the plate.
4-3, the Reds get a win. Next week, we're excited to be in Pittsburgh, hoping that the Pirates can kind of turn it around a little bit. They struggled again today.
The Pirates, off the success they had last year, you thought that they would be better. Edison Volquez comes in to take the place of A.J. Burnett. Just not happening for them like it did this past season.
And you can really see the frustration start to boil over here when Clint Hurdle and Rick Sofield, who's the first base coach, will both be thrown out of the game for arguing balls and strikes.
Well, you can see right there, it looked like it did catch the bottom of that strike zone, and the boys are not happy about it.
Not at all happy. In the 5th inning of this one with 1 on and nobody out, Melky comes up. And Melky goes pop.
Lift off. Melky Cabrera, I'm telling you. This guy can swing the bat. He is a great player. Unfortunately, what's happened in his past, we're playing a good brand of baseball right now.
Blue Jays win it 7-2. And of course, Wrigley Field known for so many great Cub players. And how about broadcasters, including Harry Carey, who for so many years could be heard throughout the Midwest.
Hello again, everybody. Harry Carey at Wrigley Field on this noteworthy night indeed. And this bud's for you, Bill Murray.
I'm dying under these lights until you handed me this.
If I'm an extension of anything, I'm an extension of the fan.
Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win!
But I've done it my way.
You know Aunt Lou's name spelled backwards is Eula. Don't worry about foul balls, Mr. President. I'll protect you. What, do I have cows in this ballpark?
I'll bet you if you put a microphone in front of the fan, his voice pattern would be the same as mine.
Way back! It might be! It could be! There it is! Holy cow! Listen to this crowd!
Hard to imagine a personality bigger than the franchise, but for so many years, Harry Carey was that. Really one of the greats as the fans begin to file into Wrigley Field for tonight's Sunday night baseball game between the Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. Of course, Dan Shulman and John Kruk, as we said, will describe the action not from the press box where Harry did, but from the right field bleachers, a completely unique perspective. And those guys join us now to share it.
Carl, thank you, and it is a very unique perspective. You know, coming to Wrigley Field in and of itself, Krookie, is a very special experience. This is the 100th anniversary of Wrigley Field. That just happened back on the 23rd of April, and here we are, lucky enough to be doing a game from the bleachers in right field. It's a pretty unique night.
Very unique night. I've always wanted to watch a game from the bleachers. I just didn't think I'd do it with you.
And we're going to, whether we intend to or not, I imagine there'll be a little interaction between us and the fans here in the bleachers at Wrigley tonight. As for the St. Louis Cardinals, things are not going quite as well for them as they had hoped early in the season. Remember last year, they could do no wrong offensively. They led the National League in runs scored, and one of the biggest reasons why, since they started recording this stat, batting average with runners in scoring position, the Cardinals have the best all-time average, 330 last year. They hit a ton of doubles. They led the National League in on-base percentage as well. It seems they were always putting up crooked numbers and scoring a lot of runs. But what a difference a year makes. They have been a below-average offensive team so far this year.
Yeah, and it's not fun to watch if you're a St. Louis Cardinals fan because they aren't driving the runs in that they needed. They're not a big home run hitting team. They need to hit with runners in scoring position, and this year it's not happening. The players say, hey, it'll come. Don't worry about it. Everything will be all right. But the manager says, you know, there might be a sense of urgency that we need to get this thing going now, or if not, Milwaukee might run with this division.
You ready to sing the 7th inning stretch tonight?
With you, I am, yeah. Is Buster joining us?
Buster is joining us. He doesn't know that yet, but he is joining us. We're honored to sing the 7th inning stretch, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Here's our viewpoint. Here's some advice Krucky and I have gotten.
Singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game at Wrigley 3 times. And so as veterans, we have very significant pieces of advice. Mine is don't mess up the words.
And mine is more for Krucky. Listen, you and I are somewhat alike. We like our food. Make sure you don't eat right before you're singing and have a mouthful of food. That's not going to help.
I know this, they will actually have eaten, that's for sure. And remember, didn't Ozzy Osbourne once sing take, and it was a butcher job.
Yeah, it was not good at all.
And Jeff Gordon once called it Wrigley Stadium.
Yes,
that
he did.
Didn't go well either.
Johnny Kruk is going to nail it. This kid can absolutely sing.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun.
I think my advice to Dan and to Buster would be to lay out, like let Krucky
let him
carry
do
the
it.
tune.
Let him take it.
And get the crowd involved as well. Looking forward to that. That, of course, a 7th inning stretch for those boys. So I'm surprised they haven't asked the Hall of Famer to go in there and sing either. They seem to want everybody to do it.
Well, let's just leave it at
Let's
Kruk.
leave it at there?
Let's just leave it there.
All right, let's continue with our Sunday stretch here. It is the Giants and the Braves. And if you haven't noticed, for all the good that Milwaukee has done this year, the Giants are right there with them as far as best records. Madison Bumgarner on Sunday was phenomenal.
Well, you can see the leverage on this pitch. He's a guy that really slings the ball. He gets a lot of left-to-right movement, almost unhittable against many lefties. This is a good Braves lineup that they are facing. This is a team that relies on the pitches, and they certainly got plenty of it in this game.
6 innings for a Mad Bum, no earned runs, 3 hits and 9 Ks. And the offense comes from Brandon Crawford.
We got Michael Morris and Brendan Belt. Both have 8 home runs. This is a team that has scored a lot of runs via the long ball. Brandon Crawford, 2 times today. Love when that happens.
Giants win this one by a score of 4-1. They're at the 20-win mark for a division that was supposed to be dominated by the Dodgers. How about the way the Rockies are playing today? Yoli Cecine is back and dealing with the Mets. Young to left. Gonzalez will catch it. He'll throw to Nolan Arenado.
Oh my! Oh my! See, now, this guy is amazing. We've seen him catch ground balls. Watch this. Basically, just catch and redirect real quick. That third base runner's thinking there's no way he's going to be able to catch that ball and throw me out of third base, but he did.
Left side of any infield of the Rockies right now with Arenado and Tulowitzki. Daniel Murphy brings in Juan Lagares. And then in the 7th, Lucas Duda comes up. Young's going to come in. The Mets.
Good hitting.
Did the Mets hang on and win this one?
Good hitting. Good hitting. New York Mets held down that strong Colorado Rowdy offense.
Morneau goes yard again. Pittsburgh. Morneau went yard again. Jose Fernandez doesn't lose at home. He's 12-0. His ERA is 1. Here he gets Hanley Ramirez.
Well, this guy, every time he shows up, you can see the respect both ways. He's going to do something special.
All right, Giancarlo Stanton, strong like bull here on Stephen Fife the other way.
I just hope this guy is in the home run derby this year because he hits the ball a long way and majestic shots as well.
Ouch. A line drive. Wall breaker. That one got out in 3.4 seconds.
Not much time. You just hope he doesn't hit it right at you as a defender.
Marlins are up 4-3. Gets interesting in the 9th inning. Ethier here to right. Stanton. Doink.
Yeah, it looked like Stanton thought about diving, then kind of got out of control and couldn't stop himself. Good backup by the center field.
3 batters later, Hanley's not laughing anymore. Fernandez is out of the game, but Adeni Echeverria robs him.
Love this play right here at second base. You got Yasiel Puig running at first base, so there wasn't a lot of time. Close play at second base. So Butte, save her out, Carl.
I had him out. The review actually overturned the play. Said he was out. He saved a run on that play as well, so an outstanding job by Echeverria, which allows this to happen. 4-4 and Baker to right. Watch Puig collide with his wall.
Yeah, this is called effort right here. Yasiel Puig, one thing that you love about him is his enthusiasm for the game. Here, banging into the wall, trying to catch the ball, but to no avail.
Dodgers say tonight it appears as if there is no concussion and that Yasiel Puig is going to be day-to-day. But the Miami Marlins win this again. You consider their pitching with some of their offensive players not going to be an easy out in that NL East when they come in for a series.
You know, we talked about the Miami Marlins. We said they're going to be a thorn in team side. I don't know if they're going to be just a thorn. They might be more than that.
Let's talk a little bit more about that team because they were not a team that we thought was going to be very competitive. I don't know that Stanton did when they traded everybody, and he was complaining about it. They got him on board, and now you look at Fernandez and Evaldi and Yelich, the rest of the offense. There are some pieces you can see build.
Well, I think when Saltalamacchia came over, they thought, okay, well, maybe this is a destination for many players. But, you know, this is a team that certainly has enough offensively to get it done. I think they're young enough just to go out there and play with kind of nothing to lose. And I think that's what you get every time you play the Miami Marlins.
Is it not even close between Jose Fernandez and anybody else? And this is Wainwright. I mean, if you wanted to watch one guy pitch, who would you watch?
Right now it's Jose Fernandez.
It's Jose.
Simply because, but the one thing that does concern me about him is he throws a lot of sliders, a lot of breaking pitches. He got a 95, 96 mile an hour fastball. I've talked to many pitchers about him, and they said they like to see him throw it more. It certainly is fun to watch him every time he goes out.
Not a lot of fun to hit against him. You saw Ramirez smiling there, and again, Puig day to day. It does not look like he's got a concussion. Meantime, here at Wrigley Field, just imagine the guys that have been on this field. Of course, we have Barry Larkin and John Kruk, but from Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub, Rick Sutcliffe, of course, won his awards playing for the Chicago Cubs. Andre Dawson.
Ryan Sandberg, absolutely.
Exactly. Ryan Sandberg.
Yeah.
Fergie Jenkins.
Yeah.
We continue with the stretch. It's the Rangers and the Angels.
Albert Pujols.
He's done some damage here, too, and he's doing damage into the camera well. That's a big fly.
That's a bomb right there, probably 420 plus. Albert Pujols, folks, is healthy and swinging the bat much like he did first 10 years of his career in St. Louis.
That was a pretty filthy pitch there from Yu Darvish, though, that got him. Look out!
Oh, boy.
Up and in is putting it mildly. Albert got nicked on the helmet there. He would be okay. He'd stay in. This is Prince. This is a double down the line. He's pulling everything. That one got through.
Prince Fielder, you know, anytime you go to a new situation, there's always that transition period. We're a month into the season now. It's going to be interesting to see what happens once he does settle in.
That was a little bit better, too. He went 3 for 4 with 2 RBI. The pessimists will say, well, wait a minute. Last year he didn't settle in either. But this is a good sign for him today with the 3 hits. And how about 14 runs for that Texas offense? They've done a nice job in spite of all their injuries. As for Detroit, they're up 3-0 against Kansas City. Verlander was on the mound, and they're starting to get some more offense.
Well, Miguel Cabrera has yet to really lock it in offensively, and this team is still winning. But the one thing that you know that you will get when you face the Detroit Tigers is you will get a well-pitched game from either Verlander, Scherzer, or whoever is on that staff.
7 innings, 3 earned, 7 Ks. Detroit and Brad Ausmus feeling pretty good about the way things are going. Baseball tonight will be in Detroit a couple of weeks from now. We look forward to that on a Sunday night. Here's what the team has done, and when you think about having those guys you mentioned, you should run into a lot of winning streaks.
Yeah.
You should go 6-1 and 7.
Well, you know your offense is going to score runs, and you know your pitchers are going to give you a chance to win a ball game, so there's really not a lot of pressure to go out there and try to do too much, and therefore you'll be successful.
All right, so Detroit playing well in front in the American League section. The American League East is kind of a mishmash as we pick it up with the Orioles and the Minnesota Twins. See what happened after the top of the second inning there. Joe Mauer started the game, but he left with muscle spasms in his lower back. 2-0 in the 5th. Brian Dozier safe at second base.
Speed. Get yourself in scoring position. Got to utilize that speed.
Orioles with a big shift. Jason Kubel's at the plate. Dozier sees Machado, and that's smart. That's heads up.
That's what it is, Carl.
Now he's thinking about, do I go home? Well, do I draw a balk?
That's what he's doing. He's trying to get that pitcher to try to make a quick movement towards him at third base and create a balk situation.
Whew. Ben Perkins is on, trying to save it. 2 out. Steve Pierce. Right field, Chris Herman. Looks like it's simple. Nice.
Happens. Try to catch that ball on the glove side of your body. You see him catch it on the right side, kind of lose the ball because the glove is in front of your face. Led to the error.
How do you think Herman feels after watching that? He win it 5-2, but the tying run is at the plate. All right, Rays and the Yankees, Peyton Manning, Derek Jeter. What are they talking about?
Yeah, well, Hall of Fame stuff.
Future Hall of Fame.
Possibly.
Will Myers, right center. Ellsbury does a Puig imitation. The ball hits off of his body, too. He goes down.
And it goes to right field. And you can see, I believe it's, Beltran playing right field, and he just eventually comes into the play right there, but you wonder why he wasn't over there backing up the play in the first place.
Solarte couldn't handle the one-hop throw, but yeah, you can tie in Beltran to the ball. It took him a while.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like he just kind of turned and became a spectator at that point, and then eventually as the wall carried him off the wall, he came over to help.
First, he decided to Parker at the stadium for a few years. Jeter had the last one in 2010. Teixeira got the out at second, but there's no throw to first. CC's not over there in time.
Well, these are some of the attention to detail that you have to pay attention to, and
it hurt him.
Later in the season, you think about maybe a game here or there that you won or lost because of lack of attention to detail, and these things eventually can come back to bite you.
Barry, there's got to be legitimate concern for Sabathia. Today, as you saw, 3 2/3, 10 hits, 5 earned. His ERA is like 5.75.
Well, his velocity is down, and you can see the opposition batting average 322. That just means guys are very comfortable. Don't have to throw 95, but you can't live in the middle of the plate.
He is struggling big time. Meantime, let's check on the Red Sox. They were dealing with the Oakland A's. They took the first couple here. Sonny Gray is on the mound. Of course, there was the doubleheader. Red Sox have had a miserable time, Barry, trying to get to the 500 mark. Cespedes on the ground on Middlebrook, safe at first, and the run comes in. This is in the 10th inning. And the Red Sox start things off as you would hope. Middlebrooks actually ends up on second with nobody out.
Well, it's about getting yourself in scoring position. Middlebrooks doesn't have a lot of speed, so you're going up there thinking, hit a double, hit it to Coco, played it off his chest at second base.
Now, contact play, you've got to run to third on a ground ball to the right side, right?
Yes, you see it at first base. Nice play by the first baseman there, and you can see at third base, Donaldson blocking the base at third and getting Middlebrooks on a tag.
Barton made an outstanding play over at first base, and then Pedroia grounds into a double play. So the tying run at second, nobody out, and the Red Sox failed to get him in, and the A's win it again. Oakland playing well, 3-2 your final score. All right, the Sunday stretch recap. Fernandez 109 through his first 20 career home starts. That's the lowest since earned runs have been tracked. And that started the year before Wrigley was opened, 1913. Will Myers, 4 homers, 14 RBI against the Yankees. No homers and 4 RBIs against everybody else. And Jose Abreu, 12 home runs. What stood out beside the wind kind of blowing a little bit out tonight? What stood out from the Sunday stretch?
Well, I looked at the Boston Red Sox. Really, it's the American League East. You really don't see any teams separating themselves. The Yankees are the best team in the American League East at this particular point. I don't know if that is the case. Everyone's playing around 500 baseball.
Yeah.
No one has really shown this first month of the season, shown that ability to go out there and just pull away. So it's going to be, as I said earlier in the season, it's going to be a competitive year.
I know you hear it because I hear it. Hey, there's no great team, is there?
Right.
And that's yet, right? But there's no great team yet.
Yet. There is no great team. There are some guys with some really good potential. I think, Tanaka has been fantastic with the Yankees. The Yankees pitching has really carried this team. But no one has really synced it up yet.
No traction yet. Fans moving into Wrigley. Will we see a Web Gem nominee from somebody like Starlin Castro tonight or somebody else? We will let you know in the 6th inning tonight who Barry says had the best defensive play. Here are the nominees from, today, Dylan G behind my back.
I see pitchers make this play all the time. The question is, did they really see that ball into the glove? I don't know, but it was a great play. Juan Uribe at third base. Nice pirouette right there on the throw. Looked like he hurt himself. Nate McLeod, I love this guy. He gives you an effort every single time out, coming over from Baltimore and making a play out in the outfield. Left, right, center, left, wherever you put him, the guy gets it done.
You can have a ball go off of you, off the wall for an inside the park homer, and on the same day, you can make a web gem.
I was going to say, have we seen this play before? Nice play right there. And what you don't realize about that outfield wall is there is a pole that he ran into. It's got a pad on it, but it's still a pole.
Your favorite today?
Yeah, Arenado. Watch this play right here. It's almost like a tip drill, like a redirect drill. Oh, I got you. Now, as a third baseman, what you're doing is you're trying to read that throw to the guy. I don't know why he was so far off, but Arenado told him, got you, buddy.
Adeiny Echeverria really helped win the game for the Marlins by stopping this play. He prevented a run and got Puig at second.
Now, Carter, did you save this for me as the shortstop for like one of the last web gems or not? This is a great play right there.
We've learned what you're all about.
Yeah, well, you know, it happens.
We've learned what you're all about.
It happens.
All right, well, Lance Lynn will try to do what Walker and Wainwright couldn't, which is beat the Cubs. The game is coming up at the top of the hour. You can hear the Star-Spangled Banner going on behind us. Jason Hamill, you see his season. He has been great. Is he in line for a big, big payday at some point down the road? Major League Baseball, People Magazine and Target are looking for outstanding teachers in your community. They'll recognize 30 of them at the All-Star Game, July 15th. They invite you to log on to allstarteachers.com and nominate your favorite teacher today. First pitch is coming up.
A man and his truck, and a very eligible bachelor. And lonely hearts. And romance in the air. And hello, ladies. You sexy thing. The new Chevy Silverado Heavy Duty. Strong for all the roads ahead.
Nice yard. I bet this dead wood really hits home for you.
Does it ever feel like your yard work is taunting you? Take back your yard with professional-grade equipment from Echo. Reliable, easy to use, and backed by a 5-year warranty. Echo. Get serious.
Staples has everything you need to get your client's attention. From brochures to business cards to banners. Everything. Except your client's attention. Thousands of products added every day to Staples.com. Even bullhorns.
How much?
Staples. Make more happen.
It's way past my bedtime, but it's hard to sleep when I know the babysitter's treating herself to a late-night helping of my Kraft mac and cheese.
Hi, Sam. Do you have a nightmare or something?
She will not be asked back.
Kraft macaroni and cheese. You know you love it.
From the moment Clifford Paul created the assist, his legacy lived on, both in his smile and in his style. From one generation to the next, State Farm agents never cease to assist you. That's getting to a better state.
The Big King you love. Just chickened out. Introducing the new Chicken Big King. With 2 crispy chicken patties and our signature king sauce. The new Chicken Big King. Now part of our 2 for $5 menu. Only at Burger King, where taste is king.
They evacuated us so quickly.
You are gonna come back to me. It's not the end of the world.
Nature has a power to restore balance.
Godzilla, May 16, rated PG-13.
There's nothing worse than feeling like a coward. You never want to feel like, I'm afraid, I'm scared. That's when you start to die. Dobel, tequila.
If you're into fantasy baseball, then you gotta check out these new one-day leagues at FanDuel.com. Get this, Joe Watson from Long Island has already won over 29 grand this year. There's no season-long commitment, and with brand new leagues every day, you can pick a new lineup any day and get immediate cash payouts. FanDuel's paying out up to $1 million every day this baseball season. And right now, for every dollar you deposit, FanDuel will match it up to $200. Just go to FanDuel.com and use the promo code HAMMER3.
You've reached the age where you learned a thing or two. This is the age of knowing what you're made of. So why let erectile dysfunction get in your way? Talk to your doctor about Viagra. 20 million men already have. Ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain. It may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease or loss in vision or hearing. This is the age of taking action. Viagra. Talk to your doctor.
Ernie Banks, got number 500.
Holy cow! Let there be.
Here comes the hook. Got him! 20 strikeouts!
Rule 19.14. The age of the confines shall not affect its friendliness. Sunday Night Baseball, Cardinals Cubs tonight at 8. Presented by Taco Bell. Baseball rules on ESPN.
Baseball tonight, Sunday Night Countdown, presented by the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado and in part by Viagra. As they prepare the field, they've been preparing since 1914.
Wrigley is like playing in the backyard. That's the way that I look at it. I love going there.
I can remember the first time I stepped foot on that field, that feeling you get knowing, how much history has been played on this.
It's the pinnacle of baseball.
It's always an honor to step on Wrigley Field. I mean, seeing the Ivy and just seeing how they haven't changed the stadium.
The Ivy and the fans and the atmosphere feels as old-time baseball as it gets.
So many great parts to it. Of course, they added the bleachers and the scoreboard back in the mid-1930s. The scoreboard only accommodates 12 games, 24 teams. There's now 15, but it's a national landmark, and they can't change it, which is remarkable. And remember, they didn't have lights here until 1988. They played over 5,600 straight day games. We'll see you in the 6th inning. The Cardinals and Cubs getting set for the action inside to Dan Shulman.
Carl Berry, thank you very much, and welcome inside, as you guys have been discussing, one of the most historic baseball stadiums, sporting venues, really, in the entire country, celebrating its 100th anniversary. We welcome you to Wrigley Field here on the north side of Chicago. This is Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by Taco Bell. And Krucky and I have been given the opportunity and the honor to broadcast from the bleachers tonight, so we came into the ballpark along with some fans down the right field line, climbed up a whole mess of steps up to our location here in right field, and here we are settling in a couple of hours ago and getting a very unique perspective on a baseball game, one that neither one of us has ever had before when we've had microphones in our hands. Welcome to Chicago. Glad you're with us, Dan Shulman and John Kruk. And you've been saying, as long as I've known you, this is one of your favorite places to come watch a baseball game.
Without question. The fans are electric. Even if the two teams were playing, my team, the Phillies, and the Cubs weren't very good, this place is fun to come to. There's no foul territory, so you love hitting here. When the weather was warm, the wind blowing out, Dan, nothing better. This is paradise.
And at some point tonight, you'll tell us as much as you can about your interaction with Cub fans back in the day, right?
If I can keep it clean, Dan, I'll do my best.
As for the St. Louis Cardinals, the visiting team here tonight, one thing you've expected from the Cardinals in recent years is a potent offensive team, but that has not been the case so far this year. What's wrong with the Cardinals offense?
Well, they're not hitting with runners in scoring position. The last 2 years, they led all of baseball with hitting with runners in scoring position, and this year it's not happening. Matt Carpenter last year, leadoff hitter, 55 doubles. This year he's struggling at the plate, so now there's not a lot of runners in scoring position. Mike Matheny said, look, there better be a sense of urgency because we need to get this thing going and going quickly. Yadier Molina batting second tonight, a change in the lineup.
Cardinals are under 500. They'll take on the Cubs, who have won the first 2 games of this series. You can see some retro uniforms back to 1929 for both teams tonight. We'll tell you more about that over the course of the evening. Coming up, as always, Barry Larkin with his best web gems of the day, and Krucky and I will do the best we can when we sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game during the 7th inning stretch. Welcome to Chicago. This is Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN from Wrigley Field.
I don't like the look of this mob, Lenny. AM crunch wraps over here, Cinnabon delights over there.
Looks like a morning rave is about to go down.
Next thing you know, they'll be twerking with their waffle tacos hanging out.
We survived disco, now this.
Oh, yeah. That is definitely a rave. What's a rave?
What's a twerk?
The next generation of breakfast is here. The Waffle Taco, AM Crunch Wrap, and Cinnabon Delights. Part of the all-new breakfast menu at Taco Bell.
A man his truck, and a very eligible bachelor. And lonely hearts. And romance in the air. And hello, ladies. The new Chevy Silverado Heavy Duty. Strong for all the roads ahead.
Jeff.
Hey, Scott. Top of the morning to you, sir.
This is no time for lollygagging, lad.
But we love lollygagging.
We do. There is a battlefield out there. You know, the chickweed is surrounding your sidewalk, and the dandelions are stealing precious nutrients. Now's the time to send in the Scots Turf Builder Weed and Feed Man. It kills weeds while it feeds and strengthens your grass.
That sounds easy.
Thanks, Scott. Anytime, kids. Get Scots Turf Builder Weed and Feed. It's guaranteed. Feed your lawn. Feed it.
Capri Sun, huh? Yep, now you can see there's no artificial colors or preservatives. And my kids think it's cool.
Look at you, the cool mom.
You know how I know you're not the cool mom? You chaperone every class trip. You read for PTA treasurer. Uncontested.
You take same outfit family photos.
You don't let your 12-year-old watch PG-13 movies.
Mom, can I have a Capri Sun?
Sure, honey. Here, take some for your friends. Just wait for it. Cool! Mom, that's me. Cool mom.
New Clear Bottom. Always no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. Capri Sun.
DirecTV Cinema has a mind-bending offer that will have you seeing double.
You don't have to go out to enjoy a good flick at home.
That's true.
Did you notice that actor that looked just like you?
Maybe we're brothers. I think I made a mistake here.
Order Enemy by May 11th, and your next movie is on us.
You brought my wife into this, man. So I'm gonna bring your girlfriend into the picture as well.
Who are you?
Order by May 11th, and your next movie is on us. Only from DirecTV Cinema.
Hello again, everybody. Harry Carey at Wrigley Field on this noteworthy night indeed. And this bud's for you, Bill Murray.
Dying under these lights until you handed me them.
If I'm an extension of anything, I'm an extension of the fan.
Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win!
But I've done it my way.
You know, Aunt Lou's name spelled backwards is Uola. Don't worry about foul balls, Mr. President. I'll protect you. What, do I have cows in this ballpark?
I'll bet you if you put a microphone in front of the fan, his voice pattern would be the same as mine.
Way back! It might be! It could be! There it is! Holy cow! Listen to this crowd!
Well, he is loved and revered by everyone who has been a Cubs fan. You know, the ironic thing is he was a Cardinals broadcaster for more years than he was a Cub broadcaster. But, Kruk, he always, I think, will be associated most of all with the Chicago Cubs.
Oh, without question. I mean, he was the Chicago Cubs. And when we were playing against him, day games, you know, before they had the lights, and we'd come out there, and Harry would come out for batting practice. And let's just say he had a great night the night before.
The lineup cards are being exchanged on this chilly Sunday night here at Wrigley Field, and here is a bit of a chilly Cardinal offense. They were shut out yesterday, and after leading the National League in runs scored last year, they sit third from the bottom in the National League in runs scored so far this year. That's why one of the reasons why Mike Matheny is shaking it up and moving Yadier Molina up to the 2 spot in the lineup. They will face a guy who's pitching extremely well so far this year for the Cubs. That's right-hander Jason Hamill, and with more on him, let's go to Buster Olney.
Dan, you're right. 4-1 with a 2.08 ERA. Now, before he signed with the Cubs, Hamill called his friend Scott Feldman, who he played with the Baltimore Orioles last year, and Feldman told him, hey, you know what? Sign there. Work with Chris Bosio, their pitching coach. It certainly worked for Feldman. Remember, after the Cubs traded him last year, he went out on the market. He got a 3-year, $30 million deal, and it could be, if Hamill continues to pitch well, he could be out on the trade market as one of the best pitchers available, Dan.
All right, Buster, thank you. And his 3 previous stops, Kruk, have been Tampa Bay, Colorado, and Baltimore. So 2 teams in the American League East, tough division to pitch in, and of course pitching in altitude in Denver. Here he is with the wind blowing in so far, and He's pitching very, very well, but he might be just in a better situation than he's been in at the previous stops of his career.
Yeah, he's in a great situation right here in Wrigley Field because at this time of year, the wind rarely ever blows out. And, that's easy for a pitcher to exploit. You get behind the count, you can just throw something down and away or even up and away and let them try to hit it as far as they can because it's not going anywhere when the wind's blowing in.
Now, if anybody gets one in the air to right field and hits it out here, is that glove for show, or are you going to wear that baby and make a play?
Well, I don't know, Dan. I'll attempt, but I don't know how we're going to work it.
Oh, Sherholtz just threw one into the stands just to the right of us. Well, because between the two of us, there's little doubt you're the guy who should be wearing the glove. We would agree on that.
It's debatable, Dan. That's debatable.
We are ready. You can see, you just saw our vantage point from behind us. We're in the first row of the right field bleachers as we get ready for baseball with the Cardinals and Cubs both wearing 1929 jerseys. That's the first year when the Cubs were in this ballpark that they went to the World Series. Wrigley Field turning 100 this year. It opened in 1914. The Cubs began here in 1916. The Chicago Whales of the Federal League played here for a couple of years, and then the Cubs took over in 1916, and they have been here ever since.
And that Wales team was a big pitching and defensive squad.
Ready for baseball. Angel Hernandez is the home plate umpire. Jason Hamill's on the mound. Matt Carpenter's in the box. And we are underway with the first pitch strike. Carpenter had a magnificent season a year ago. Hit .318, smashed 55 doubles. Seems like he was on base all the time and really jump-started that Cardinal offense. And you wonder, the leadoff hitter was so important in any lineup. If he can get going, you wonder if it really has a domino effect on the lineup.
It really does, because normally he's on second base. Now, the stolen base is not in the St. Louis Cardinals repertoire. They thought they might have had that with Peter Borges and Colton Wong, but those two offensively haven't worked out. Colton Wong since being sent down, but Carpenter has to hit doubles because he's not going to steal bases, and then they move him along from there.
Up high, 3 balls and a strike. Hamill has walked only 7 batters in 34 2/3 so far on the season, but he's behind the leadoff hitter here.
And this is a situation we talked about. It's 3-1. Throw it over the center of the plate. And if Carpenter hits it in the air, you got an out.
And a foul ball down the left field line. So this is a whole new experience out here, huh? You and I just dealing with a broadcast from out here, trying to see exactly where the ball is from our vantage point. Home plate's awfully far away.
It's a long way, and I didn't think the sun would bother the broadcast team. But yes, it does.
If we lose one in the sun, you'll have to bear with us.
Well, I hope it hits me, Dan.
I hope it does too. And there's a liner down into left field, a base hit for Carpenter. And that'll bring out Yadier Molina. Mike Matheny has mentioned moving him into the 2 spot for the first time this year. He hit there 12 times last year. But last year, of course, they had Carlos Beltran, who hit in that spot a lot. And the Cardinals, as much as any team, they've kind of gone away from what a 2-hitter used to be. And they like a guy who could do some damage in the 2 spot.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with back-to-back doubles or if your second hitter hitting a home run. But Yadier Molina is very adept at hitting the ball the other way. And with the big hole now at first base with Carpenter on, you might see a 1st to 3rd situation.
Well, no team has used as many number 2 hitters already this season as the Cardinals have. 7 different hitters in the 2 spot a month into the season. We asked Mike Matheny before the game, are the hitters frustrated or are the hitters kind of calm and relying on the track record that most of them have? And he said in the back of their mind, they're relying on the track record, but in the front of their mind, they're frustrated. And he's talked about guys going down the tunnel and smashing bats after at bats. There is some frustration on this team.
Yeah, and this is a great place to do it. They have a big tunnel. There's a lot of things to damage down there.
Yep.
But you can't get hurt unless something bounces off one of the concrete walls.
Carpenter the lead. And pop back out of play. A ball and a strike on to Molina. The Cubs won on Friday 6-5. The Cardinals made a comeback but fell just short. And then the Cubs won yesterday 3-0. Jake Arrieta making his first appearance of the season for the Cubs. He and 5 relievers combined to shut out St. Louis. Ball hit to deep right field. Scherholtz back, and he makes the catch on the warning track. Carpenter had gone all the way to second, and he's going to be doubled off.
That's a base running mistake by Matt Carpenter right there. Yeah, Yadier Molina hits this ball well, but you got to know with the wind blowing in that that ball, even though it was hit well, it's not going out of the ballpark. And Scherholtz a really good defensive outfielder. Yeah, that's one with no outs. You got to be more careful if you're Matt Carpenter. Go halfway or 3/4 of the way, but you can't round the base and expect to get back in time. You got no outs. Why risk it?
Now swinging a foul back by Matt Holliday. So just like that, after a leadoff single, all of a sudden 2 outs, nobody on.
But you talk about pressing, Dan, in the batter's box. There's also pressing on the bases. Matt Carpenter's trying to make something happen. We need to score a run. We got shut out yesterday. Let's get on the board early. And he makes a base running mistake, and now there's 2 outs with no one on base.
It's been another problem for the Cardinals this year. They have made a lot of outs on the bases. 16 already this season. That's the second most in the National League. So they're not hitting for power. They don't steal bases. They're making outs on the bases. There's a ball hit to deep left field, but it will be caught on the track by Kalish, and just like that, what looked like it might have been a promising inning ends without any damage being done by the Cardinals.
You may have to travel like this, but at Courtyard, you can choose to stay like this and enjoy more of this, and this. It's a new stay. Courtyard.
It's called $1 Million Arm. We go to India to convert a cricket player into a baseball pitcher.
Can be done.
It's time to show them what you've got.
$1 Million Arm. Rated PG.
Hang on now. I'm drinking a light beer that I can actually taste. The bartender just called me sir. My shoes aren't sticking to the floor. Nobody's yelling over anybody else. And for whatever reason, I'm positive I'm taking that smoking hot brunette home with me tonight. Right. Because she's my wife. I could get used to this.
When you're ready for a light beer you can actually taste, you'll know Corona Light.
Staples has everything you need to get your client's attention. From brochures to business cards to banners. Everything. Except your client's attention. Thousands of products added every day to Staples.com. Even bullhorns.
How much?
Staples. Make more happen.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell Breakfast. Wake up, live Haas. And in part by Chevrolet. Celebrate the new season with Chevrolet. Share your excitement using hashtag the new.
You wanna go? Well, that depends on how much money you got in your pocket.
Well, Wrigley Field's been around a long time, and so have many of the people who are working here. That's Mike Dower, who's been the electrician here for 40 years, since 1974. He followed in his dad's footsteps. He had the job starting in 1963. Welcome back to Chicago. Dan Shulman, John Kruk, Buster Olney. Sunday Night Baseball on a fun night here at Wrigley as we go to the bottom of the first. And Lance Lynn is on the mound for the Cardinals as Emilio Bonifacio steps in and takes outside ball one. Lynn is off to a good start. He is 4-1 on the season with an ERA of .360. A great strikeout to walk ratios. Bonifacio is going to try to use his speed, but he will be thrown out. And that will take us to tonight's Cubs lineup. Brought to you by Taco Bell. You have seen Bonifacio. Really the keys so far this year, Crucky, have been Rizzo and Castro.
Well, they're the cornerstones. This is what they're trying to build this team around, the power of Anthony Rizzo at first base and Starlin Castro, what everyone thought was going to be a great everyday player. But you have to remember, he's still very young. Yes, he has made a lot of mistakes, but he seems to be more comfortable this year with what he's doing on the baseball field, more confident with what he's doing. That's why he's hitting fourth now in this Cubs lineup.
The number 2 hitter is Luis Valbuena, the third baseman, hitting .210 so far on the season. Cubs offense hasn't been great. It's been a little bit better than the Cardinals offense has been so far. The Cubs are just 11-17 on the season, but they have won 3 in a row, including the first 2 of this series, and that's their first series win of the season, regardless of what happens tonight, obviously. Well, and I'm sure that Rick Renteria, this is something that he hopes they can build upon, getting that first series win after a month of games played. That's a long time to wait. And a strikeout for Lynn for out number 2. So the big right-hander now will face Anthony Rizzo, who is as likely as anybody, I suppose, in this lineup to send one out our way. He's a left-handed hitter with power as Kruk dons the glove. 6 home runs on the season and an on-base percentage of .421 already. Are you feeling good about catching it? Yeah. That's really my only. He's got a better chance of hitting one than I do of catching one. I can tell you that. I would like to thank Ryan Kalish for loaning me a glove, because obviously he's seen me play. And as you said to Kalish and to me before, you last caught a pop-up or a fly ball in 1994. Yeah, 95. I was a DH and played 1 game at first. Shift is on. 3 on the right side against Rizzo. 2 outs, nobody on, no score, bottom of the first. Now, if he hits one out here and you catch it, you keep it. But if a Cardinal hits one out here, then I think protocol dictates you have to throw it back. Or I can give it to them. One of them to throw back, because my arm's worse than my pop-up catching skills. Just outside, ball 3. Rizzo's a guy who can use the whole field with power. And both he and Castro signed to 7-year deals by the Cubs. There's a strike at the knees, full count. Lynn, a lot of fastballs, a lot of 2-seamers, tries to stay down around the knees as much as he can as Castro waits on deck. He's done a great job since moving into the cleanup spot. And there's a ball ripped into right field. He found a seam in that shift. Big turn, but he'll stop with a 2-out single. Well, 3-2, Lance Lynn, 3-1 pitch. Lance Lynn made a great pitch, and now Yadier Molina wants this ball inside. It kind of drifts over more the center of the plate, and Rizzo hits one right down. You see Matt Adams, he's almost playing no doubles defense against Anthony Rizzo. Nothing you can do. The shift, you can shift all you want, but I don't think you're going to put a guy there. Great play by Alan Craig to get to that ball and keep Rizzo at first base. So a 2-out base runner for the Cubs in the bottom of the first, and that brings up the shortstop Starlin Castro. Not a guy you think of as a cleanup hitter, really, but that's where he has been recently, and he's been 12 for 28 since he moved to that spot. Just 24 years of age. Seems like he's older than that. Seems like he's been around 4 years already, but a guy who, it seems, Kruk, has taken some big steps forward this year. Consistency, work ethic, maturity, those types of things. Yeah, and Rick Renteria downplayed his importance to his development, but yeah, it has to be a big boost to a guy like Starlin Castro. The fact that Renteria is bilingual, he can converse in Starlin Castro's native language, and I think that's a big thing for a young kid playing, especially in this city, to be able to communicate with him on his level. The talent's always been there. It's, can he put it together for 162 games without making all the mental mistakes that he's made? High in the air, but not deep at all, as trotting in center field is Grichuk to make the catch and end the inning. 1 complete at Wrigley. No score between the Cardinals and the Cubs.
We're living the dream.
Hi, everybody, it's Pat Hughes. Wrigley Field is one of the most recognizable landmarks in America and is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. Louisville Slugger, the official bat of Major League Baseball, is commemorating this milestone with the laser-engraved two-tone 34-inch full-size bat. It's lasered with the Wrigley Field 100th anniversary logo and historic ballpark facts. This bat sells for $129.95 and is limited to 5,000 individually numbered units. Call Big Time Bats now at 1-866-280-BATS.
Presenting the latest in beauty.
It's luxury.
At the hottest boutique, the new paint studio at Ace.
Say what?
That's right. Brilliant colors from Clark & Kensington and Valspar Paint.
Like a high five for your eyes.
Find helpful advice and discover your perfect color with our new mixable color samples.
They're mixed to the max.
$4.99 at Ace.
Ace is a place to help the hardware folks. Helpful is beautiful.
Firestone Transforce tires. Built to handle whatever the job demands. Durable, dependable Firestone tires. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Top second, Wrigley Field, Cardinals and Cubs on Sunday Night Baseball. Matt Adams leads it off for St. Louis. The cleanup hitter and first baseman. Hitting for a great average at .333, only 2 home runs so far. A guy who showed a lot of power last year. And ultimately, they're looking for a little more production out of the cleanup spot as he rounds one out to second for out number 1. Another guy who's got a track record, and they're hoping for more from, is Alan Craig, who led the majors in batting with runners in scoring position each of the last 2 seasons. Hit 400 2 years ago, over 450 last year in such situations. This year hitting only .214 overall, but as you can see, he is starting to heat up, and he's obviously another tremendously important guy in this Cardinal lineup.
Yeah, they said his timing was just a little off going into the early part of the season. Said he wasn't timing the fastball right. When you can't time the fastball right, it's hard to time anything else right. But yeah, when he gets it going, Dan, he's one of the best at it in the business as far as driving in runs.
Breaking ball there for a strike, and it's 0-2. 44 degrees and dropping here in Chicago. With the wind blowing in from right toward the left field corner. And he got that curveball up a little bit, and maybe a little bit fortunate the ball was fouled back.
Yeah, very lucky that that ball didn't go out of the ballpark. But with the wind blowing in, you can get those.
Kind of 2 Wrigleys, right? April, May, September Wrigley, and June, July, August Wrigley.
Yeah, we prefer the June, July, but
we the hitters, you're saying,
or we the broadcasters, wherever we are.
Craig providing souvenirs for everybody. Now, some people are more into the Cinco de Mayo spirit than the.
That is tomorrow.
That is tomorrow.
Yeah. Be in beautiful Bristol, Connecticut. Where will you be, Dan?
I will be back north of the border in Toronto. Watching you in Bristol, Connecticut. Down and away, a ball and 2 strikes. We'll see the Cardinals again next week. We'll see them next Sunday night in Pittsburgh.
You ever been to that ballpark?
I have. It's beautiful.
Unbelievably beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it's the second best.
I would agree, and I would agree with which one you got number 1.
assuming it's San Francisco.
Yeah. Very good assumption.
But Wrigley Fenway in a whole separate category.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they're in different categories just for what all's gone on in those buildings. No, Veteran Stadium won't be on the list.
Your old home?
I loved it, but
100th anniversary of Wrigley Field. And just such a unique ballpark between the brick wall and the ivy and the scoreboard. No lights till 1988.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
Yep.
When the ivy comes in nice and green, it's beautiful. But man, if you're an outfielder, not so much.
Still a brick wall.
It's still a brick wall with a couple of leaves protecting you. And branches, which is, just really fun when they, not only do you disturb your whole body when you run into it, but then you get poked in the eye with which is great.
And out at first is Kruk, 2 down. Well, as we've mentioned, we're out in the right field bleachers, and we had a play in the first inning. This ball hit to deep right field, and because of where we are, kind of tough to see Sherholtz, so you got to get into the game, Kruky. Ball hit to deep right field. Sherholtz back, and he makes the catch on the warning track. Carpenter had gone all the way to second, and he's going to be doubled off. We actually can't see what's below us without getting up and getting out there a little bit.
And I couldn't get up because my feet don't touch the ground on our chairs.
You're like the little kid on the big adult stool. You can't touch the ground down there.
I can't.
I'm so sad for you.
Yeah, well. Vertically challenged. See, I can't.
There you are.
They just kind of dangle down there.
2 down, and this is Johnny Peralta, the shortstop.
I'm short and chubby. What the heck? Can't have everything, Dad.
But they love you here.
Well, we'll see. Let's play that one by ear.
You're a man of the people. If you had lived in Chicago and come to a game here as a kid, you'd have sat in the bleachers.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to come back. I want to come back someday and sit in the bleachers just to experience it.
I tell you what, why don't you take the 4th inning off and hop over that fence and go sit with the good folks here tonight. See how that goes.
Yeah, but they know I'm here.
3-1.
Well, some do.
We have some video that we're going to run later. I don't know where our guys found this video. This is when Kruky was playing for the Phillies back in the 90s, and it's his interaction with some Cub fans in the bleachers. It's good stuff. It was ball 4. We'll play it as time allows over the course of the evening. A 2-out walk issued to Peralta, and that'll bring up the young center fielder Randall Grichuk, who is one of the players the Cardinals called up. They made a couple of changes trying to jumpstart the offense. Peter Borges is still with the Cardinals, but he's not playing much right now. He didn't hit. So Grichuk is a guy who hit well at AAA and one of 3 young outfielders that the Cardinals are excited about. These are his numbers with Memphis before he got called up, and they're just trying to see if anybody that they can find can help ignite the offense. Told us before the game that ball squirts through the legs of John Baker, the catcher, and up to second on the play goes Peralta. Told us before the game, they can measure anything these days, that the ball comes off Grichuk's bat at times at 115 miles an hour, and he said that's really rare air for a major league for any hitter.
Yeah, and that's where you get excited about this young kid too, because you know that there's some pop in this bat, and the Cardinals desperately need some power production in this lineup, and they're hoping this young kid can provide it for them.
Goes around, and it's a ball and a strike. A wild pitch charged to Hamill to take Peralta up to second with 2 down.
And that's a big difference in minor league baseball and big league baseball. 1-0 pitch, Hamill throws him a slider and he chases it. The minor leagues, you probably more than likely when you're behind the count, you're not going to get anything off speed.
There's another breaking ball, and it's 2-1.
Because the last thing a pitcher wants on his resume in AA and AAA is, well, he walks a lot of guys.
Hamill, a guy who's had All kinds of injuries, but he's healthy this year. Signed a one-year deal with the Cubs and off to a great start this season. And there's a ball lined into right center field. It is down, and it is all the way to the wall, where it sticks in the ivy. Rounding second and heading for third is Grichuk. And he'll be in there in a slide as the run comes in to score, and the Cardinals have a 1-0 lead.
Well, we mentioned what Mike Matheny said about how the ball jumps off this kid's bat. This is a pitch that Jason Hamill just left up in the strike zone. I mean, you hear that sound. Is that just beautiful or what? That just tells you that there's some lightning in that bat, but that's just a perfect swing. He let the ball get deep, the elbow tucked into the rib cage. Just smokes one into right center field.
So 1-0 St. Louis. 2 down here in the second. Runner at third, and the batter is the second baseman, Mark Ellis. And a curveball for a strike. First career RBI for the rookie Randall Grichuk, now 3 for 13 in the big leagues. Ellis getting more playing time now. Colton Wong won the job out of spring, started slowly, and got sent down. And Ellis, coming off injury, is back in there now as the second baseman. Began the year on the DL with tendonitis in his knee.
I'm sure the Cardinals would love to have Colton Wong be a very productive player in AAA so they can get him back up here with some confidence.
And there's a liner into left center. And this ball's going all the way to the wall. Another run in to score. And into second is Ellis as the Cardinals now take a 2-0 lead.
You wonder why why Hamill would throw pitches where Ellis can actually get a piece of the bat on the ball with the pitcher coming up next to 2 outs. But, even though the Cardinals hitters are work at it, but it's a pretty good piece of hit by Mark Ellis. Not a bad pitch, but that's when you want to get down and away a little further, maybe even bounce it. But a veteran guy like Mark Ellis, he understands that they're probably not going to throw him anything over the plate fastballs. So he's setting on a breaking ball and hits one in the gap. Lance Lynn gets a hit, and we got a 3 spot.
Lynn, the pitcher, takes a strike as we check in with Buster. All right, having some technical difficulties. We'll get back to Buster when we can. 2 runs in here in the second for the Cardinals. And it's 0-2 now on Lynn, who is 1 for 11 so far this season. Chase is in the dirt, and that will end the inning. But the Cardinals get a couple. Grichuk and Ellis deliver run-scoring hits. 2-0 St. Louis through an inning and a half.
In the real world, security surrounds us. There are cameras, police, guards. But who looks after us online, where we spend more than $200 billion a year? American Express can help protect you with intelligent security that learns your spending patterns and can alert you instantly to an unusual charge. So you can be a member of a more secure world. This is what membership is. This is what membership does.
Somebody in this town is going to die.
Please don't shoot us on sex night.
From the guy who brought you Ted.
You beat this guy, you're gonna be a real hero.
I've never fired a gun before.
I'm gonna teach you how to shoot.
He's the most vicious gunfighter in the territory.
Hang on, son.
Hahatena ashte. Mila Kunis. Mila Kunis.
A Million Ways to Die in the West. See it all. May 30th, rated R.
Hey, Mom, can Kevin Durant join our sprint family plan?
Sure, the more people we add, the more we save. Hi, Kevin Durant.
Well, what do you say, KD? You want to be part of my family?
I would love to join, but I can't.
Why not?
Because I'm not really here. You're dreaming.
I'm dreaming?
Yep.
Join a Sprint family for as low as $25 a month, and for a limited time, get a switching bonus worth up to $650. Happy connecting from Sprint.
Baseball gives us diving catches.
An incredible catch!
Ballparks put you right where they happen.
Goes into the seats!
Baseball gives us 400-foot home runs. Ballparks give us the chance to take them home. Baseball gives us fantastic plays every day. Ballparks give us memories that last forever.
"100 years of Wrigley Field," April 23rd, the actual anniversary date. Cubs moving here in 1916, and here we are for Sunday Night Baseball, the Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. Nate Scherholtz, the right fielder, who started that double play, making the nice catch in the top of the first inning and then firing a one-hop strike back to first to double off Matt Carpenter. Scherholtz looking for his first home run of the season after hitting 21 a year ago. Down the left field line and back out of play. For Scherholtz, it'll be Ryan Kalish and John Baker. Well, they knew what they were getting themselves into tonight. They came prepared.
They've been here a while.
Yep.
And I'm not just saying tonight.
They do love their Cubbies. They love their Bears. They love their Blackhawks today. And they do have all kinds of ways of showing their love for their Cubbies.
You wonder if he stole it from her. Certainly he didn't come in here with that thing.
Deep into the left field corner, Matt Holliday makes the running catch.
Here's the perils of Wrigley Field. There's a lot of room in the foul territory, especially down the lines. There's none. You have a feeling once you hit that dirt, look at Matt Holliday concentrating on that ball, but once you hit that dirt, you throw your arms up because you need to be prepared for that wall coming up really quick. And yes, it's padded, but yes, it's brick behind it.
We talked about some of the unique features here with, as you mentioned, no foul territory. The bullpens are in play too. One of the few ballparks that still has the bullpens in play down the lines, and of course a brick wall with ivy on it that you ran into a time or two.
Yeah, I've had my meetings with it. Yeah.
And you don't win many of those.
Oh no, it's a lose.
Yeah.
It's a loss. It's a lot. I mean, look at. I mean, it's not like it's the ivy's covering the whole wall. There's still a lot of brick behind there that you can see.
You have to warm up a bit for the ivy to fully grow in. Of course, Randall Grichuk met the wall and lost on Friday.
And not many winners there.
And you hear all kinds of stories about, you know, the ball going into the ivy, you can't find it, or you come out with another baseball, or rumors of outfielders stashing baseballs in the ivy in case they need, which I can't understand. But who knows what's in there once it fully comes in, right in the middle of the summer.
Yeah, a lot of things can be hidden in there. But that's
not a lot of protection.
Yeah, you know, if you run into a brick wall, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, though, you don't anticipate the ivy poking you in the eye. You don't expect getting poked in the eye when you run into a wall.
Kalish with a bouncer back to the mound, 2 down. Two to nothing St. Louis. A couple of 2-out hits with a man in scoring position for the Cardinals, just like they did last year to take a 2-0 lead. And John Baker will bat now with 2 outs for the Cubs. Wellington Castillo is the #1 catcher for Chicago, getting the night off. And Baker is in there catching Hamilton, making his 7th start of the season. Elsewhere in the National League Central today, Cincinnati defeated Milwaukee 4-3. Milwaukee, though, still is atop the division. They are 21-11. Although they've cooled off a little bit lately, they've had some injuries. Cincinnati right now is tied with the Cardinals for second at 15-16. And Pittsburgh lost today, beaten 7-2 by Toronto, so they have fallen a half game behind the Cubs. The Pirates now in the basement of the NL Central. And there are the up-to-date standings. Milwaukee with some great pitching so far this year.
Unbelievable starting pitching. You know, you thought Kyle Woj, after signing late last year and struggling a little bit, and then knowing he would have a full spring training, and how'd you like to change that? Can you imagine if that thing changed on a daily basis?
They got to move that Pirates flag down. They do. They go up there and they change them. And
they change it on a daily basis if the standings change.
If the standings change, yes.
Sometimes.
Yeah. That falls under the heading for you and me of couldn't pay us enough.
No. The only thing you can hope for is that it's real windy when it's the day to make the change.
Sprayed foul off to the left. It remains 2-2 on Baker. Baker and Molina looking over there. That ball went in hard just beyond the dugout, and somebody got hit, as you can see. And Baker looking on with concern. They're going to send some medical folks down in a hurry, you would think.
See how Baker's very distraught right now with. Even though it's out of his control, you still feel like you're responsible when you do hit someone in the stands.
Two again. Outside. Ball 3. And you can see Molina, Angel Hernandez, they're all still looking over between pitches. Everybody concerned. And a ground ball off the end of the bat, stays fair, and out at first is Baker to end the inning. The Cubs go 1-2-3, and that means they got to update the hand operated scoreboard here at Wrigley. Put a 0 up for the Cubs in the bottom of the second.
Well, that depends on how much money you got in your pocket.
You know what time it is. It's happy hour at Taco Bell. Enjoy $1 loaded grillers or any $1 medium drink from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. every day.
Do you have something for pain?
I have Bayer aspirin.
I'm not having a heart attack. It's my back.
I mean Bayer Back and Body. It works great for pain.
Bayer Back and Body provides effective relief for your tough pain.
Better?
Yeah. Thanks for the tip.
When LaQuinta.com sends a ready-for-you alert the second his room is ready, you know what salesman Alan Ames becomes?
I think the numbers speak for themselves.
I'm sold. A selling machine! Ready-for-you alert only at LQ.com.
Oh, you smell that? They're trying to burn their house down again around that fire pit. They're like a bunch of cowboys. Maybe you should call the police. Better yet, get up and get the hose. Oh, they're just lucky our program is coming on.
Some people want more out of life, and we insure the things that make more possible. Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at safeco.com.
It's not what you do that kills you. It's what you don't do. Taco Bell tequila.
All right, guys. It's the Cubs. It's Wrigley Field. It's tradition. It's the 7th inning stretch. Don't screw it up. I will welcome to the whole team. They don't win it again. 1, 2, 3 strikes out at the old ball game. I did the 7th inning stretch, and I screwed it up. And I've never been asked back.
I tell you, Kruk, we got some pressure on us tonight, man.
After listening to Coach Ditka, I'm pretty sure we'll be better.
You feel a little bit better?
I'm feeling pretty confident, yeah.
Well, what people need to know is one of the two of us can sing, and it ain't me.
Yeah.
So you're carrying the lead here.
I've gotten some coaching from some of my country friends, Cole Swindell, the Davison brothers. Yeah, they've been coaching me. And their biggest advice, Dan, like when someone's throwing out the first pitch, don't bounce it. Don't forget the lyrics.
Don't forget the words. Yeah.
That's the struggle.
We will give it our best. Here's Matt Carpenter. Top of the order, Carpenter, Molina, and Holiday. Here in the third for the Cardinals, who are up 2-0.
Tell you what, old John Baker's having some trouble back there snagging some pitches from Jason Howell. That one got the umpire. And trust me, that doesn't make an umpire very happy.
Especially in this weather. It's going to hurt a little bit more.
Hurts when it's warm.
Hurts when it's warm, too, yeah. There at the belt, 1-2. Yadier Molina waiting on deck. Breaking ball to get him for out number 1. Second strikeout of the night for Hamel, and that'll bring up Molina as we take a look at Do More, brought to you by Safeco. And we all talk and admire the defensive skill that Yadier Molina has, but offensively he has also developed Kruk into one of the very best hitting catchers in all of baseball.
Yeah, the defense was never a problem with Yadier Molina from his first days in the big leagues. Offense, though, was a little bit of a struggle for him, but he has turned himself into a guy now you can depend on in the middle of the lineup. Today hitting second, of course, but anywhere you hit him, he's going to be a productive hitter. He's figured it out, and I'll tell you what, it's fun to watch a guy who was so great defensively, who did such great things with the pitching staff, now come into his own as an offensive player and become that complete catcher.
What do you see as the difference in him as a hitter now, say from 5 years ago?
Confidence and more power. I mean, he's more aggressive at the plate. He swings, with a purpose now, instead of hoping to get a hit. Now he expects to get a hit. Got some ink too.
To right field, and Shearholtz has room to make the catch, 2 down. ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball continues tomorrow night. You'll see the Cardinals again as they take on the Atlanta Braves. It's Monday Night Baseball presented by USAA, and then a rivalry right here in Chicago, the Cubs and White Sox from the South Side on Wednesday night beginning at 8 Eastern, presented by T-Mobile, and it'll be the Cardinals and the Pirates 1 week from tonight on Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. The Cubs will stay home after tonight and host the White Sox tomorrow and Tuesday, and then they will travel down to U.S. Cellular Field for a couple of games there on a Wednesday and Thursday. Here's Matt Holliday. And all of a sudden the Atlanta Braves, who will take on the Cardinals tomorrow, they're really struggling. They've lost 6 in a row. The Giants just swept them and held them to 1 run in each of the 3 games over the weekend series.
Yeah, it's not going to get it. But this is the Atlanta Braves offense. They're going to have bouts of inconsistency where they don't score runs, and then they're going to drop a 10 spot for a week on you.
And Washington lost today to Philadelphia, so Atlanta's still on top of the National League East by a half game over the Nationals. San Francisco, meanwhile, they are 20-11 on the season. As you look at the congested National League East, every team over 500 and every team within a game and a half.
Think he could last?
No.
No. Bruce Bochy, what a job he does out there. Every year you think, well, we don't have enough offense, but they score enough to win. Or the pitching's getting a little older. They've thrown too many pitches. Yet they get the pitching when they need it.
And Matt Holliday draws a 2-out walk. Crucky, it's your favorite time of the evening.
Yeah.
Here comes the chow.
My favorite person.
Got some Chicago dogs right here. Loaded. Chicago style.
Oh my gosh.
3 for you and 1 for me.
Yeah. With fries.
The whole deal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. We got to do this. We should do this every week from the bleachers.
Yeah.
Don't you think? At different ball
Where are we
games.
at next week?
Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah.
That's some good stuff. That's going to be hard to chow down during a 2-minute and 25-second commercial break.
Yeah, there's a quarter of a pickle slice on there. Some. I'm assuming those aren't mild peppers.
No, they don't look mild.
So we might not want those.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot of. It's colorful. I've never seen such colorful hot dogs though. They had it wrapped in bacon. Oh.
Matt Adams sends one to deep left center field, and it's off the wall on the fly. Holliday with 2 outs, running right away, rounding third, heading home. Score standing out. Look at Adams heading down to third, and he's safe. Now, we mentioned they wanted some production out of Adams. They just got some, and the Cubs look like they're going to challenge this, whether Adams was safe at third, or at least go out and wait for the word from the video room before they decide whether or not to challenge. So I'm going to talk to the ump while I face the dugout, while I wait to hear. The ruling on the field was safe, and he was definitely there in time. The question is, did he come off the bag? And I think he might have. That right foot might have left the bag before the left knee got to the bag, and the glove was on him the whole time. But it looks like the Cubs have decided not to challenge.
Might have been too close to call, and either way it's a run, but you still don't want him running on third base out there with 2 outs, even though there is 2 outs, especially with the guy who's starting to swing the bats a little better now in Craig.
So it's a double for Adams. He takes third on the throw to the plate. Double and an RBI for Adams. And it is 3-0 St. Louis as Alan Craig steps in. Slider for a strike. So some big hits tonight for St. Louis. An RBI triple by Randall Grichuk, an RBI double for Mark Ellis, an RBI double for Matt Adams.
The Cardinals last year were so adept with runners in scoring position, hitting the ball up the middle and the other way. Let's see if Hamill plays into that.
Down the right side, but back out of play. Of course, Alan Craig moving out to right field this year with Carlos Beltran not back. Matt Adams taking over as the everyday first baseman. Last year, Craig generally was the first baseman, and Adams would get in the lineup when he could. At the beginning of the season, maybe a couple of times a week. If somebody got hurt, he would play more, but he was very productive. And so they elected not to re-sign Beltran, move Craig to the outfield, move Adams to first, or install Adams at first on a regular basis.
And that might have been one of those decisions by the Cardinals front office that, you know, Beltran's going to get a multi-year deal. Can he be a productive player on a multi-year deal, or will he be just good for 1 year, maybe 2? And the Cardinals didn't want to take that risk.
Up and in, 2-2.
That's a great pitch. As you know, they're trying to hit the ball the other way. Alan Craig's trying to hit the ball up the middle the other way. Center fielder Shaden, a couple steps toward right field. Sherholtz is playing a little bit less than straight up, more on the opposite field side. You want to try to get him out of the way, you come in to get him out of the way.
Late on the fastball as he sends it out of play. And the inning is over. Another run for the Cardinals to make it 3-0, and just as importantly, it's time for Kruky to enjoy dinner. Grab it, Kruky, get going. The clock is ticking.
I will.
Gary Pressey on the organ.
It was not a natural disaster.
You're hiding something, and I have a right to know!
Godzilla, May 16, rated PG-13.
There's a saying around here. You stand behind what you say. Around here, you don't make excuses. You make commitments. And when you can't live up to them, you own up and make it right. Some people think the kind of accountability that thrives on so many streets in this country has gone missing in the places where it's needed most. But I know you'll still find it when you know where to look.
Firestone Transforce tires. Built to handle whatever the job demands. Durable, dependable Firestone tires. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
You love this game. More than your wife. More than your kids. More than your own mother. But does the game love you?
Who cares? You get to stay at this golf resort. Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
Weekdays are for rising to the challenge. They're the days to take care of business, when possibilities become reality. With CenturyLink as your trusted partner, our visionary cloud infrastructure and global broadband network free you to focus on what matters. With custom communication solutions and responsive, dedicated support, we constantly evolve to meet your needs every day of the week. CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Dan Shulman, John Kruk, Buster Olney. The Cardinals lead the Cubs 3-0. Number 8 hitter Darwin Barney, the second baseman, off to a real sluggish start, hitting just .133 on the season. Pops one up shallow left. One down. We told you a little bit earlier, we had some video from back in the day. Kruky is a Philly, talking to Cubs fans.
Right field's open! Kruk, man, this is your job on the line. Lord knows they got Murphy to play right field. Give us Dale Murphy! Hey, Kruk, I'm a poor college student. How about loaning me some money, buddy?